Hello, my friends. LQ here with the LQ review, and I'm here with my movie review for Pet Semetary. Now, just want to talk a little bit about my history with the franchise. I have no history with the franchise. Never read the book, which is weird because I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I've read just about every Stephen King book that there is. My favorite being The Stand. I adore The Stand. Love it. I love it. I love Needful Things, Carrie. I even love some of the work that he's done as Richard Bachman, like the Regulators. The Regulators was so good. So I love Stephen King, but I've never read Pet Sematary, so that's really weird. I never saw the original Pet Sematary that came out in 1989. Never saw it. I saw bits and pieces of Pet Sematary 2, and that was only because Edward Furlong was in it. And that came out when I was a kid, right around the time that Terminator 2 came out, and I loved Terminator 2 so much. So I was like, hey, this is John Connor. I gotta check it out. And I saw some of it and didn't love it. So my history with Pet Sematary isn't very extensive. So I went into this not really knowing what I was getting myself into. And I intentionally went in blind. I was like, you know what, I have no preconceived notions. I have no history with this franchise. I'm going to go in blind. I'm not going to do any research and just go in and see what they have to offer me. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the movie. So, but let's rewind. Let's talk about the good, and then let's talk about the bad, and then I'll talk a little bit about why I didn't like it. The good, Jason Clarke. Jason Clarke does a great job here. His character is very complex. So he starts out being like the scientific voice of reason in the movie, right? But he's not somebody that the audience can really identify with. Maybe some sections of the audience can, but for me, I wasn't really able to identify with his character because his character was so black and white, I don't know if analytical is the right word, but so one certain way. He looked at life through a lens that I can't relate to. But Jason Clarke did a great job selling that performance. The wife, she was the avatar for the audience. You know, the wife, she had the point of view that most of the audience, I think, had. Whereas Jason Clarke's character, you can't relate to the position that he was put in. Unless you've gone through a horrible tragedy in your life, you can't relate to that position. So I don't even think it's smart to even try to relate to that position. But even put in that position, I don't think his character is relatable. Because he takes so many left turns, so many right turns. He goes in so many directions that I don't think real people would go in. But he does it with this Jason Clarke glee that I really enjoyed. I've really come to like him as an actor, and he did a really good job here. The tension in this movie, it was palatable. I mean, you could reach out and you could touch that tension, and you could grab it and hold it, and it worked for a Stephen King movie. So many Stephen King movies have fallen short. It is the exception. Believe it or not, it is the exception. So many Stephen King movies fall short of grabbing that feeling that his books give you. And I will say this for Pet Sematary, although I didn't like it, it did that. That feeling that you get when you read a King book was there. That tension, that horror, that terror, it was there. And man, it was thick. It was thick, and I really I can't say I liked it, but I commend the filmmakers and the writers for crafting something that did its job so well. The bad. And so keep in mind that this is my personal opinion on it. Actually, in this case in particular of this movie, the reasons I don't like it might be a reason that you do like it. But I just gotta tell you how I felt about it. I don't care. I don't care for the subject matter. I'm a dad. I'm a dad. I got 2 little kids. All right. I go to the movies for escapism. I don't go to the movies to confront the reality of my children's mortality. That's not fun to me. I'm not gonna sit. I'm never gonna sit down in a movie theater where the plot of the movie is the death of children and enjoy it. That's just not me. I like horror movies. I do. I like horror movies, and I liked It. And It, in a lot of ways, involves the death of children. But the difference is that It involves a group of children getting together and fighting back. They had hope. They had a desire to defeat this evil that was terrorizing them. There is no hope in Pet Semetary. Hope is dashed. Hope is gone. It's not there. And I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy the helplessness, the hopelessness that this dad had at facing his daughter's mortality. It wasn't enjoyable to me. I will never be that person who sits down and is entertained by that. And if that's you, that's fine. That's fine. We all have different tastes. We all have different ways that we look at life. We all look at different ways that we can separate reality and fiction. And for me, this just hit too close to home. I've got 2 little kids. I don't want to see that. So that was the main reason why I didn't like the movie. It was a subject matter I didn't care for. Objectively, the movie was made well. It was a well-made movie. Oh, going back to the good, John Lithgow. John Lithgow was great in this. I love John Lithgow, and he was phenomenal. So I'm sorry I forgot a good, but jumping back over that bad, it was just it wasn't a movie that I'm gonna ever want to revisit, ever. In fact, I kind of like to pull it out of my mind. It's just not a subject matter I enjoy. So, and another thing I didn't quite like about it was I'm just tired of this whole all the good guys lose at the end trope in horror movies. All right? I understand it's a horror movie. Most of the good guys are going to die. I get that. That's what happens in horror movies, and that's why we go to see horror movies. But the whole good guys lose cliche that we've seen in horror movies develop over the last 10 years or so, it's wearing thin on me. It's wearing thin. So I would have liked to see some sort of positive conclusion, at least for the mom, right? Some sort of positive conclusion or some sort of hope that there was going to be a brighter tomorrow. And there was none of that in this movie. So, I don't know. It just wasn't a movie that was made from me. I can't say it was a poorly made movie because it wasn't. It was a well-made movie, a well-acted movie, a well-written movie. The movie did the things it set out to do. It set out to make you feel the way that I felt. Only problem is I don't like feeling that way. So if that's something that you enjoy, then you're going to love Pet Semetary, and I can't recommend it more. But for me, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So I've got to give it a sad face emoji. I didn't like it, but don't take my word for it because my outlook on it is probably going to be different than yours. So, have you seen Pet Semetary? If so, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel. Hey, you can find me at the LQ Review on Facebook. And as always, thank you for being here, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about, including horror movies that make us feel a little uncomfortable. Until next time, we'll see you later.